Shalom Aleichem for Shushan Purim. Our Mishnah Yomi learning is in chapter 1 of Eduyot, Mishnayot 6 and 7 today. Amar Rebbe Yehuda. Yehuda said, Im ken, if so, lama maskirin divrei yochid, why do we mention the opinion of one individual sage, beina merubin levotlon, amongst the many, in order to negate the individual? Now, some sources have a reading lebatola, or levotla, which means to nullify it. Now, this is a very similar but not identical statement to the beginning of Mishnah 5 that we saw yesterday. Now, in Mishnah 5, we said that sometimes there's an individual opinion, a dat yachid, das yochid, that could be relied upon by a later court if there was some reliability to that opinion. Here, the individual opinion Rabbi Yehuda is talking about is one that's lebatola, one that's been rejected as having halachic value. So continuing the explanation in our Mishnah right now, she'im yomar ha'adam, if one person will tell you, kach ani mekubal, I've received a certain tradition about what to do halacha l'maaseh, yomer lo, they could tell this person, kedivrei ish ploni shemata, yeah, you've heard that tradition, but that's only the view of one specific sage whose halachic tradition was actually rejected. The idea here being, if we didn't record even rejected opinions in the Mishnah, then individuals might have a Masorah like those opinions, and we wouldn't realize that those opinions have been considered by the earlier sages and rejected. We would think that he has an alternate Masorah, and it has greater halachic value than it actually does. Now on to Mishnah 7 about the topic of tumat, of ritual contamination from a corpse. Now a corpse can contaminate through touching it or picking it up and carrying it, even without touching it, but also through ohel. Ohel means tent, but it means being under the same roof or the same overhang. So obviously a complete human corpse will transmit impurity through an ohel, but what about some bones? Beit Shammai omrim rova atzamot mina atzomim. He says a quarter kav of bones will transmit tuma via ohel, even from many bones, ben mishnayim, ben shlosha, or from 2 or 3 or even more corpses. So even more, a lot of people, if they have their bones add up to a quarter kav, that will be metame through ohel. Beit Hillel omrim, Beit Hillel disagrees, says rova atzamot minegavia. It's the quarter kav, but only from one deceased, from one corpse, not from multiple people. Also, he adds merova binyan, from most of the structure of the human body, which they explain means 2 thighs and a shin bone, which could form a structure. O merova minyan, or the majority of the number of the bones in the body, like a lot of very small bones. Finally, the Mishnah brings Shammai Omer. Shammai himself says, now remember, the first opinion in the Mishnah was Beis Shammai, the academy of Shammai, the students. Here is Shammai the Zaken himself saying, Afilu me'etzem echad. Even if it's from a single bone, it can convey tuma through an ohel. Though there is a version of this teaching in Nazir, the Gemara Nazir, Daf 52, where Shammai says, Afilu etzem mina shidra mina gegolet, a bone from the spine or the skull, according to that reading. Now, it's very interesting that Shammai is quoted as having a different opinion than Beis Shammai, and it could be that, yes, the students were free thinkers and they had other opinions. There's another option here, the Melech Shlomo cites Chalichas Olam, that we see that it could be that Beis Shammai retracted his earlier teaching. The first opinion might be his original teaching, and then maybe he talked to Hillel and changed his mind and had his own opinion in later years. Shar Kohachem, Tiskele Mitzvot.